Next week, Chinese leader Xi Jinping will travel to North Korea for his first state visit in nearly 7 years. The relationship is defined by a massive economic imbalance. China accounts for the vast majority of North Korea's trade and aid, providing the fuel and food necessary to prevent the regime's internal collapse. But just 24 hours before this visit was announced, Kim Jong Un authorized a deliberate, provocative reveal. North Korea suddenly went public with a massive, sophisticated new nuclear facility. This is a uranium enrichment plant. It is a factory designed for one specific purpose: churning out the fuel required to manufacture nuclear warheads. During his tour of the site, Kim announced a new directive to expand the country's nuclear forces at an exponential rate. It is a strange time for a display of defiance. Why would a nation that relies on China for its basic survival flaunt an illegal weapons program right before the Chinese leader arrives? The timing is a calculated move to change the hierarchy of the meeting. Before the first handshake, Kim is demonstrating that he is the leader of a nuclear state, forcing Xi to negotiate with a peer rather than a subordinate. This confidence is rooted in the 2019 collapse of diplomacy with the United States. When the U.S. refused to lift sanctions without total denuclearization, Kim Jong Un walked away from the table. He retreated to Pyongyang to refine his strategy. He stopped looking for a grand bargain with the West and began looking for a way to make his isolation profitable. He found his opportunity when Russia invaded Ukraine. As Vladimir Putin's stockpiles dwindled, he became desperate for the kind of conventional military hardware that North Korea produces in massive quantities. Kim traded his artillery shells and short-range missiles for Russian energy, cash, and military technology. By feeding the industrial demands of the war in Ukraine, Kim found a new way to keep his economy moving. This Russian support changed the geometry of North Korean diplomacy. Kim is no longer an isolated leader with a single patron in Beijing. He has become an active participant in a global conflict. In Beijing, the view is one of growing concern. For years, China was the only country that could truly influence Kim Jong Un. Now they are watching that influence erode. For decades, North Korea's survival depended entirely on Beijing. But by opening a second pipeline to Russia, Kim gained a new layer of protection, prompting Xi's visit to reassert dominance. Now China and Russia have united to shield Pyongyang from U.S. sanctions. By securing these parallel commitments, Kim has effectively neutralized the threat of international isolation. He has forced his two powerful neighbors to act as a combined diplomatic buffer against the West.
The message from Pyongyang is clear. The nuclear program is no longer a bargaining chip. Kim Jong Un has no intention of trading his arsenal for security guarantees. Backed by two global superpowers, he is moving toward a new goal. He wants to force the United States to accept North Korea as a permanent nuclear state and move from denuclearization talks to arms reduction negotiations. This new alignment has paralyzed the international system. With China and Russia using their vetoes to block new penalties, the UN Security Council can no longer effectively respond to North Korea's weapons tests. Kim is now leaning into a broader strategy, expanding ties with any nation that finds itself in a confrontation with the United States. Xi Jinping's arrival in Pyongyang marks a shift in the regional order. North Korea has ended its period of total dependence, emerging as a permanent nuclear power integrated into a new bloc of autocratic allies.